Hey guys, it's Keegan with Seared and Smoked, and today we're taking a look at a miter saw table that I built just a month or two ago. It's something I wanted to share on YouTube because I saw quite a few miter saw tables when I was looking to build my own for ideas, and I thought people might want to check this out too. So we're usually grilling, smoking meat, but the other woodworking videos I posted in the past have been popular too, so I decided, what the heck, might as well show this baby off. I think it has some cool features. I built it nicer than I originally thought I was going to, so I really didn't document the process, but I'll kind of walk you through what I did, what steps I took, and show you the things that I think are kind of cool about it that maybe you might use for your own miter saw table if you build one in the future. So pretty psyched about it. Can't wait to use it. I haven't yet. I built a miter saw table, but now I really need to use it. So, but I'll show you what I did. Let's take a look. Okay, so this took me about 2 days to build, not 2 full days, but I spent a good amount of time on it, so it'd be like a good weekend project. The things that I think are kind of cool about it is that it compacts down to 6 feet wide. I have extension arms on each side that I incorporated, and you can just unscrew this knob here, that slides in, screw this knob here, this slides in, and then this also serves as a stop block. So if you're cutting multiple pieces, you can use either this edge of the extension arm. So you measure what your distance needs to be, lock it down, and then you can cut multiple pieces really quickly that way. So if you're cutting longer pieces, you can use this extension arm as your stop block. Or if you're cutting shorter pieces, I also have these little C-clamps. I call them C-clamps. I think you call them bench clamps too, or fence clamps. We use them on table saws quite a bit too. So these guys, you can just clamp on wherever you need them on the fence that I made. Just tighten her down here a little bit. So that way it acts as your stop block. And so if you're cutting like table legs and you're making like a bunch of tables, so you're making 6 tables and you need to cut 24 real quick, I mean, you can just line them up as fast as you can and just rip right through them. So if you're making, mass producing things, makes it a lot faster, but in general it makes it a lot more accurate. So instead of being, about 20 inches, you can make sure that thing is dead nuts at 20 inches and then cut as many as you need in a repeat, and they'll be right at the same length. So kind of replaces some of the function of a table saw that way. So that's kind of one of the main cool things I think that I incorporated into this table. Now we'll kind of zoom in on some areas, and we'll just kind of focus in on how I built it and some other cool things too. So let's check it out. All right, we'll just kind of take a look at the extensions a little bit more. There's one feature I didn't talk about, and that is they are reversible. So right now, this is set up so it's a support, but you can also take it out, put it in, and now it's a stop block here as well on this side. So it works the same way on both sides, so that way, it's just more versatile. You can also take these out and just leave them to the side too if you want, but that way you can, a little more convertible, do some fun things with that. So, all right, let's keep moving. Okay, one thing I just wanted to cover real quick is this nice little socket you can buy on Amazon that makes a cheap dust collection system possible if you don't want to buy a huge expensive system. Basically, the saw gets plugged into one outlet, shop vac gets plugged in the other, and then I got my shop vac hooked up to the actual saw to collect most of the dust. And how it works is whenever you hit the trigger of the saw, so after you hit the trigger of the saw, it fires the vacuum, and then when you let go of the saw, it cuts off the vacuum. I think it's like 7 seconds later. So this outlet's like $30, so pretty cool. Really happy to find that, and just makes less dust collection for you, less cleanup. So, all right, let's take a look how we actually built this thing. Okay, let's take a little spin around this sucker here. Just show you some different views so you can see it from all angles. And then we'll kind of work in and look at some details. So this is the back side. You can kind of see the shop vac I have hooked up to the magical outlet. And then the shop vac hooked up where there used to just be a little bag on the back there that was attached to the DeWalt to collect some of the shavings. And I just got rid of that and then connected the shop vac. So that's the cheap setup I got going for dust collection right now. The plan is to have on the left side here is to build more of some shelving storage eventually. So make that a little nicer, but right now they're just 2 boxes. So I basically started from the ground up when I built this sucker. So just started out framing up this bottom area. We got 3/4 inch plywood all the way across the bottom. These are just, the way I built these was just assembled the vertical pieces first. This was all with pocket hole joinery. So made kind of the 3 vertical rectangular supports, and then connected them horizontally on the back side and both sides on the top. And then this 2x4 that runs the long length is actually on the outside of that. So if we look inside here, you can see the framing, and then additional 2x4 framing to make a nice level tabletop across the whole length of the miter saw table. So after we got on, this is kind of the main table support that goes the whole length. So at that point, you just kind of had basically a workbench. And then from there, I worked on the details on top as far as the different aspects of the, building the extension tables. So at that point, just had to build the extension tables with the fence attached. So the way I went about it was building, this part first, and then attaching the fence second. So the only real detail work in this was just making sure that the height of your extension tables is the exact same height of the tabletop of your miter saw. So the way I did that, I just, you got your 3/4 inch plywood top and bottom, and then I just ripped 2x4s to that height that I needed. So every table saw is different, so there's probably no point in me telling you the height of that. If you build your own, you just want to make sure that you're ripping this 2x4 to make sure your exact height that you need. And then from there, it's pretty easy. The only real kind of tricky part of this was just making sure that these, this rail system, this is just a really easy way to, have something slide in and out. It's basically just 2x4s locking each other in place parallel to one another. So this one's in there pretty tight. I didn't want it to move real easily. So fairly tight. It's not going anywhere. Did the same thing on the other side. So basically just used a bunch of parallel pieces of 2x4s that were ripped to make this little extension table system. And then after you get this tabletop built, just used 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood screwed together. I didn't glue it, I just put a ton of screws in it. You can see how many are in there. And some of those screws in the bottom are connecting it to the actual tabletop to this portion. So solid. So after you get that piece, assembled this piece together, got those joined together. Then from there, just using a nice straight edge to make sure everything is parallel as you work your way down the fence all the way across the table. So that's generally how I went around building this sucker. And once again, these little clamps are nice if you don't want to do anything elaborate. I've seen a lot of, really nice tables where you use a T-track and, aluminum pieces for these different stop blocks. If I'm going to be mass producing something, it's easy enough for me just to clamp this thing down, and then I can make a bunch of cuts against that block. Once again, same setup on either side, so depending on how long your board is, one side may work better than the other, but with the versatility of those extension arms, it just really provides a lot of options to choose from. So that is the table. I hope you enjoyed it, maybe got some ideas from it, and lots of options when you're building these things. And I just know I was trying to do this for, not trying to, but thinking of doing this for years. I'm finally in a house where I don't think I'm going to move for a while, so I was like, I might as well build this thing. So that, my friends, is the miter saw table I will have for many, many years. So leave me a comment down below if you have any questions. Be happy to try to answer any questions you have. And if you make building something yourself, I always enjoy seeing photos as well. So we'll catch you guys later. See you next time. SearedandSmoked.com.